I just realized I was muted that entire time. Welcome in. Welcome to the stream. Normally, I would be doing a theme park Thursday on a Thursday, but my family and I were out celebrating last night. So it is on a Friday instead. So thank you all for coming in. I'm just getting the last few things set up, and we will be good to go. So just bear with me for just 1 second. And earlier, we were having some audio issues, so I didn't think I was going to end up going live, so I shut everything down, but then my amazing husband got it up and running again. So now I'm just quickly throwing everything back up. Tonight, we are going to be talking about the Haunted Mansion, the Walt Disney World version, the Florida version, for those of you that don't know. So we are going to talk about the nitty-gritty of it, a little bit of some of the neat props that I have here to show you guys. And also, Ozzy is on the floor right now licking my feet, so I apologize if you hear him. He's supposed to be, you can't see, but I do have a chair here for him. And I tried bribing him with treats. He was great until the stream started going, and then he said no. So, until then, we do have a command that should be working, fingers crossed. That is !treats. And if you do that, then the kiddos that are both at my feet right now, both of the dogs, will get a treat. So, and since I only have 2 viewers right now, I figured that's a good time to tell you guys so they're not just getting totally spammed with treats all night. All right. So we are going to be talking, like I said, about the Haunted Mansion in Florida. So just give me 1 second. I'm still very new to streaming, so I apologize. There we go. All right, so this is the Haunted Mansion in Florida. Really? ! Treat already? 2 viewers. I'm handing out the treats already. All right, kiddos. There's 1. And there's 2. Good crunch, good crunch. Okay. So this is, like I said, the Haunted Mansion in Walt Disney World. I'll zoom in a little bit. This is my absolute all-time favorite Disney ride. My original streaming name was going to be the Hitchhiking Ghost for this very reason, for the Haunted Mansion, but I ended up changing it to the Accessible Explorer because of all of my body aches and pains and my body just falling apart. So here we are as the Accessible Explorer. So with this ride, there is no height requirements. There is no age limit on the ride. It's a fairly tame ride. You don't go very fast. It's very dark. So a lot of people recommend it. Some children may find it scary. And then there is a photo pass photo on the ride. So if you are using the photo pass that Disney does, you will get a ride photo as well. And I'll show you guys where that is as the ride goes on. So I'm just going to start with some old pictures of it. This is when they were working on Liberty Square. This was back in the late 60s. Because the Haunted Mansion is an opening day attraction, it opened on October 1st, 1971 in the Magic Kingdom. So this is when they were working on Liberty Square. This is where the riverboat is. A lot of people didn't know that there wasn't water there originally, so they ended up having to dig the water out. So I just think that's cool to see something like that, an old blast from the past picture. This is another one when they were putting the facade on. It's a little blurry, but hey, we'll take what we can get with the old Disney photos. This is a postcard from the early 70s or 80s. And as you can see, there is no awning on the queue for the Haunted Mansion ride. That's something that was added later. And a lot of people are kind of torn about that. A lot of people liked it without the awning on it because you could see more of the ride, the greenery, foliage, things like that they had taken the time to do. But when they put the canopy on to cover the queue, it blocked a lot of that. As you can see, you don't get to see much of the flower beds and things like that. Personally, I am glad that they put the tenting up because it just gets so hot in that Florida sun. So I have no issue with that at all. And here is an aerial view of the ride. You'll enter on the left. It's kind of cut out a little bit where the canopy would be. And then you would exit on the right by the little glass observatory room. And then everything behind it that you see, the big white building, that is the show building. So the front building is just the facade. You enter in there, but the whole ride is actually in the building behind it. And they paint the building go away green, plant a whole bunch of trees around it so you don't see it, so it doesn't ruin the illusion that you're not going through the Haunted Mansion, which I think is really cool. And here's another older photo with some of the foliage and things like that before they put the tarps back, or the tenting up. So this is an opening day attraction from October 1st, 1971 in the Magic Kingdom. The original idea was supposed to be the Museum for the Weird. It was supposed to be like a walk-through haunted art exhibit, something like that. And then at one point they had talked about doing it as a water ride, and I'm really glad they did not do the water ride because I don't like water rides except for Pirates of the Caribbean. That's one I'll take. So the Museum for the Weird, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I have some really cool photos of sketches and things that they wanted to do. And so at the beginning, so this ride was in Disneyland, California first, and Walt actually had a hand in designing the ride. He wanted it to be a mix of spooky and silly, but then after Walt's passing, they ended up battling over between making it like an eerie ride or just like a fun ride, so it ended up being a combination of both. The song that you'll hear throughout the whole ride is Grim Grinning Ghosts, and it was written by Buddy Baker, and the lyrics are from Ex Atencio. And you'll hear it in different octaves, faster, slower, depending on what room you're in the ride. And then the Disney World Haunted Mansion is in the Dutch Gothic style to fit Liberty Square, more of like an American style. The one that is in Disneyland, California, that has a different style to fit the area that it's in over there. So they do look very different, which I think is cool. But this one is kind of southern, a little bit southern Gothic for the Disneyland one. The Disney World is more Dutch Gothic. And as you'll see in some of the pictures that I showed you guys, let me back up a little bit. You will see that on the tops of some of the towers, it looks like little chess pieces. Some people say it was intentional, others say it was not intentional. But Mark Davis, which was one of the Imagineers behind the attraction, loved chess. And so he is claimed to have put all of the chess pieces up on the roof except for the knight, because it is always night in the Haunted Mansion, which I think is really cool. And Mark Davis is also the one that in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, he put in the two skeletons playing chess and they're at a stalemate. So this is also another nod to him with the chess, which I think is really cool. And then a little bit of lore before we get into it. Master Gracie, who is, we'll find out, is the owner of the mansion. He is named after Imagineer Yale Gracie. And then in the ride, when we get going, in the stretching room, you'll see a hanging person in there. And it is believed that that is actually Yale Gracie, which is very interesting. And then there are also a tombstone for him. There's a little cemetery that we'll get to. And it says, "No mourning, please," at his request. Sorry, my dog is chasing my cat right now. And then, sorry about this. Okay, so in the queue, this was added a few years ago. This is like a who murdered who kind of thing. So if you read each of the tombstones for like Cousin Maud and things like that, you can put it into order as to who ended up uh, annihilating, getting rid of the other ones and things like that, and find out who is the last to perish, which I think is really cool because sometimes the wait time can be pretty long. So it does give you something to do while you're waiting. Oops, sorry about that.